Hey friends, I didn't advertise this class. It's just going to kind of pop up maybe randomly on your feed, so you can join me. All I'm going to be doing back here is some simple restorative stretching and seated postures to help in meditation. A couple examples of how to use straps and blocks in your practice, both for beginner and intermediate, but then also how to work it a little bit more advanced for playing around in some postures. If you want to follow, you can. This will be on Facebook. I'm going to upload it after the live stream, and then it'll be on my website as well as YouTube channel. So if you want to stretch with me, you're welcome to. So with me here, I have two foam blocks, and I have a yoga strap. If you don't have, it's fine. What you can use instead is a nice shirt, long sleeve shirt, or a towel. That works fine too. And if you don't have the blocks, you can use books or pillows. They are cheap. You can get them off Amazon for, I think, 2 for $6, or you can get them at TJ Maxx for a similar price. Okay, step 1. Sitting comfortably, just in a crisscross position, something simple and nice and easy. This is good. If you are having trouble with your knees or your hips sitting crisscross, that this doesn't happen naturally for you, you're going to take 2 pillows or 2 blocks and place them under your knees, maybe the hips, and this kind of helps give you a little bit of support here, and you can just rest your hands. So when we sit crisscross, your femur is in line with your hip flexor, and that's what makes this stretch alone sometimes difficult. Now if you take a look at my back, sometimes when we sit crisscross, we do this. Look, this isn't bad. This may be just where you are. What I suggest doing is taking your hands back behind you, leaning back, lifting up the chest, lifting up the chest. All right, and it's okay if you're leaning back a little bit. Maybe on your fingertips or on your hands. This is fine. If you're just working on your hips, this is good. What makes leaning back a little bit easier is that you have more space between the ball and socket joint of your hip flexor and your femur. When you're uptight, you don't have as much diversity to move, so if this is uncomfortable or if it makes you round your back or you just don't feel safe or steady here, hands back, lean back, chest up. Yeah? Okay. So you're going to stay as you are. I'm going to face you. Couple of deep breaths here. Your eyes can be open if you feel more comfortable looking at the screen or looking around, and that's fine. If you can close your eyes, that might be a little bit nice. It's tuning inward to yourself. Now, in this little practice, I'm demonstrating a lot of it is going to be postures, but as we work on these postures, it's not perfection. Right? As yogis, we don't ever care about perfection. Sometimes we want to deepen our alignment or get a little bit more precise, but we're really trying to unearth the person, not the posture or the perfection of the yoga, right? So as you sit here, a couple of full, long and deep breaths. Roll back your shoulders. Lift up from the belly, from the diaphragm. So you're trying not to round the lower back, you're lifting up. Drop your hands on top of your knees. And this is when we're going to actively round the shoulders and curve the back. And then lift up the chest and pull back the shoulders. What this looks like from the side is rounding the belly, rounding the shoulders. So think of your belly button trying to kiss your spine, and then lift your heart, rolling back your shoulders. Ponyo, what are you doing outside? Let me put my dog in real quick. Come here, Pop. Sorry about that, thank you. Squeeze in your belly, roll your back, drop your head, lift up your shoulders, reach them back, lift up your chin. And maybe we do one or two more. Inhale the arms up above your head, and exhale your hands to your heart. I teach Ashtanga Yoga as well as Vinyasa Yoga, and a feedback or comment I get often is that in Surya Namaskara A, or Sun Salutation 1, all of the standing and jumping back, or the planks and the lifts and the pushing and down dog is just a little too much. So I'm going to show you two variations to do Sun A with a little less movement. First variation is to stay on your knees. Now, if being on your knees is uncomfortable, you can roll up a towel. I don't know why I always choose a shirt, but you can also roll up a shirt or a blanket, a pillow. If you have nicer things, you can just support your knees however you want. Now, again, you're not trying to round the back or drop the hands, right? You still want to be up nice and tall with the hands at the heart. This is a variation of Sun A if you don't want to do the full practice of Sun A. Inhale, arms up above the head. Exhale to a cat position, meaning hands and knees curve the back. As you breathe in, look forward to a cow position. You want to lift up the tailbone, drop the shoulders over the wrists. From here, bring your legs back and drop your belly all the way down. As you breathe in, lift up your heart. You're going to come into a child's position, which is Balasana. It's when you slip your hips back to your heels, arms come forward, and forehead comes down. Now, if this is too tight on the hips, sometimes taking a block to your heels to support your hips gives it a little bit of relief. If you don't have a block, you can use a pillow, a blanket. It's also okay if your child's position is a little bit higher. This is okay, this is fine too. I'm sure you feel it in the hips, the groin, maybe the low back. That's our main objective here, is just pushing through the hips, reaching with the spine. You're going to come back to your hands and knees, catch your hips, lift up, take your hands to your heart. All right, that's Sun A. That's Sun A down on the knees. I'm going to do it one more time, a little bit more fluid, just so you can kind of see it in rhythm. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands and knees into cat. Inhale, arch the spine. As you exhale, drop your belly back down to the mat. Inhale to lift the heart. As you exhale, you're going to push back into a child's posture. You hold here for 1 breath, 3 or 5 breaths. If you hold for about 5 breaths, it's about 25 seconds because you want them to be slow, controlled, long, and deep. You come back to your hands and knees. catch the hips, breathe in, and hands are at the heart. Yeah? All right, so that's one variation of Surya Namaskara A, your Sun Salutation A, staying nicely rooted and grounded on the mat. Another option here is to stand up. Inhale the arms up. Exhale the hands at the heart. And begin to fold forward. Now, if you can only fold forward this far, that's great. If you can go further, that's fine. It's not about touching the toes, right? You don't want to have like your feet apart and your hips off-centered. It's really not about getting down to the mat. You can use your blocks here as you bring them up. Again, if you don't have blocks, you're using books or you're using pillows or nothing at all. You don't need props. They're just little modifications. You inhale, lift up. Exhale, take your hands to your heart. You're going to reach your heart forward and bow down. Nice flat back to start with. Then your hands can touch the blocks. Now if you can grab the blocks, drop the palms. The important thing here that we're working on is dropping the head all the way down. Sometimes in Sun A, we're just looking around the room. That's what's kind of nice about doing yoga at home, is that you're not looking at someone else's practice. You're really focused and looking inward on your practice and what it looks like. So you want to look at your knees, maybe at your belly button. When you drop your head, you're flexing your cervical spine, you're flexing your back all the way down to your tailbone. Now the reverse of this posture is to look forward, roll back your shoulders. So when you roll back your shoulders, you're also lifting up the hips, flattening the spine here. So fingertips are on the blocks, hands are at the blocks. If you don't have blocks, take your hands to your quadriceps, right? Maybe you take them below the knees and at the shins. That's fine too. Hands to the heart, breathe in and lift up. Inhale, arms up, look up, arch back. Exhale, hands to the heart. You're going to take your palms behind your back, giving your thumbs a nice little massage with at your kidneys. So you're kind of pressing into your low back. And it's not that we're back bending, right? We're not trying to just like back bend. What I want you to think of this as is another variation of a down dog. So you're massaging your kidneys with your thumbs. Your elbows are trying to touch behind your back. So instead of the elbows being slightly outward, roll them back. That way you're working the shoulders. And you're lifting up the chest. You're not arching the back. You're lifting. Squeezing in your navel, lifting up your chest, rolling back your shoulders like the elbows are trying to touch. You hold here anywhere from 1 to 3 to 5 breaths. This is similar to your down dog. Before you take your hands to your heart, squeeze in your navel. Inhale, arms come back up. Exhale, hands at your heart. All right, so that's a standing variation. I want to show you kind of what it looks like one more time, a little more fluid, about 1 to 3 breaths each. So your standing still variation of Sun A, Surya Namaskara A, is going to be inhaling, arms up, exhaling, hands at heart, flat back, reach forward. Then you're going to drop your hands as far as you can to the blocks, maybe to the toes, doesn't matter. It's about tucking the chin toward the chest, dropping the head down. Inhale to look forward. Roll back your shoulders. Take your hands to your hips. Lift up. Roll back. Elbows trying to touch behind your spine. Lift your chest. You hold here a couple of deep breaths. Straighten out the spine. Inhale, arms up. Tuck in the navel. Exhale. Inhale, lift one more time. And exhale back. Yeah? All right, so that's another variation. That might work for you. I kind of like the one on the knees. I kind of like being grounded, but maybe this feels better for you. We are not going to do much of Surya Namaskara B. That's your sun salutation B. So when you bend the knees, push back the hips. You keep your right foot where it is as you step your left foot back. You do the same on the other side. Back. So, and come into a couple of the standing postures of your Ashtanga series, and then we're going to get into some flexibility with the strap and the blocks. Starting in what we call Trikonasana, which is also your triangle posture, you're going to take a block, and you're going to step your right foot to the back of the mat, tucking in the left toes, and point your right toes to the back of the mat. You're going to notice that your hips become a little bit catty corner, and that's fine. You're going to work on pulling open the left hip. So you really want to be facing the side of your mat. You're holding on to your block with your right arm as you extend your arms out. And look at a point in front of you. If you're outside, look at a tree. If you're at home, look at your couch or the kitchen. Find a point and try to reach for it. Reach for it. So in Trikonasana, we don't drop down, right? Instead, you reach as far as you can from the hips, through the obliques, through the spine. Drop the block down, lift up the left arm, and look up. Sometimes what we do here is we shrug. Do you notice my shoulders? I want to lift up nice and high here. Jack, come here. Sorry if you see my dog's tail wagging. Inhale to lift. We do the same thing on the other side. Tuck in the right toes, forward the left. Reach. Hinge. And you drop down. So you go as far as you can until your body stops, until you just max out. Hand down, arm up. Try not to shrug the shoulders. Roll them back. Again, it's going to be anywhere between 3 and 5 breaths. I'm just going to leave that practice up to you. Hi, Jack. Hi, Jack. Inhale to lift up. Hands at the heart. Tuck in the left toes, back the right toes. This twisted triangle posture is a little bit tricky. We're just going to breeze through it a little bit. So when you take your block forward with your left hand, if your right foot is forward. Sometimes the hips get catty cornered, and yogis do this. Or yogis just so badly want to touch the mat that their back is rounded and their chest is down. Instead, what you're trying to do is pull back your right hip, pull forward your left hip, reach the left arm forward, again, just like you did in that first triangle. You drop the block down, chest stays up, lifted, and open. So I'm not doing this, I'm not looking down, I'm not dropping my chest. You want your heart facing the opposite side of your mat as best you can. Again, you're not trying to shrug the shoulders, but lift up and away. Good? All right, same thing on the other side. Tuck in the toes. Right arm comes forward if the left leg is forward. You pull back the left hip. You pull forward your right hip. You reach, drop. The hard part here comes in the thoracic spine when you really try to twist and lift. Now, if you can only go this far, yogis, that's fine. In time, you're reaching your arms in the opposite directions, pulling your hips in the opposite directions, lifting your heart toward the opposite side of the mat. So we're really working in oppositions all over the body here. Inhale to lift up. All 10 toes face the side of your mat. When you fold forward using a block, you take your hands to the block. Now once again, yogis, sometimes we so badly just want to touch the mat. You're hunching your back, or you can't reach your toes, or you're bending your knees, or you're swaying to one side. Who cares about touching your toes? Who cares about touching the mat? Right? This is practice. We're just practicing. It doesn't have to be perfect. So instead, you take your block, you reach your heart forward, you drop down, you rest here. Trying not to hunch the shoulders, not to round the back. You're staying nice and open face as you're reaching forward, right? Nice flat back. This happens a lot. Again, it's not bad. This isn't bad. This isn't bad yoga. This is just working on improving alignment, heart forward. Now, even if you can touch your toes, it's the same philosophy as that heart forward as you drop down. Maybe your head rests on the block. So you're not trying to drop down and round the back, right? You don't want to be here. It feels kind of stressful. Wherever you are, it's chest forward. Yeah? Okay. 2 more standing postures. We have our tree posture. Whichever foot you choose, it's when you bring one foot to the opposite leg, either above the knee or below the knee. Now, when I take a yoga class, I always have blocks or straps with me, because if you're not using your blocks and straps to modify your practice to make it a little bit more beginner friendly, you can also use your blocks and straps to deepen your practice, make it a little bit more challenging. I like to stand on a block, lift up, and come out. Foot either down low or up nice and high. Now what this is doing, maybe you can see me wiggling a little bit here, is that the block is soft, so you have a softer surface, which actually makes your balance a little bit more challenging. It also gives you a little bit more depth in reaching up high, so instead of being afraid to balance, this kind of embraces the fear. Like if you're going to fall out of it, I'm sure you may be wiggling a lot, you're just going to step down. So balance is all about mindfulness and control. Of course, like don't try some of these things if you think you're going to roll your ankle or hurt yourself. The block is just a fun little thing to practice. You can either keep it flat like it is, or you can bring it up higher. That's a little more scary, a little more challenging. But whichever you prefer, this is mostly the practice of breathing, embracing fear, being very mindful and controlled of your body so that if you do fall, you're going to step down and not, right, break an ankle. Okay. This next posture I saw from Patrick Beach. Patrick Beach is a yoga teacher. I believe he's in Portland. He's a really great yoga teacher. And this one's kind of hard. Okay, so this next posture, at least it's hard for me. This is a way to use a strap in an intermediate way. You're going to take a nice big belt loop. All right, now you want, let's see if I can remember this. It's kind of fun. Okay, you bring it around your body, right? You're going to keep the strap at your back, but you're going to step a foot through, all right? Then you're going to tighten up your strap as you lunge forward. This is kind of cool, right? Now, what this is doing is that it's keeping the integrity of your shoulders and your back, so you stay nice and tight here. Notice I have a lot of slack. Lower and straighten. Lower and straighten. right? It's all about the integrity of the back. The other nice thing about this is that it can help you with your forward fold, or it can help you in your crow because it's already keeping your knees awfully close to your heart. Yeah? So that's a couple ways to do it in this style, working a lunge, nice deep lunge, and straightening out. So as mentioned before, the reason why I like this is because it keeps the integrity of your back and your core. If you want, I can post some more videos on that posture alone. You may find it on my Instagram, or you can find it on YouTube. What happens in that posture when we use the strap, or when we don't use the strap that way, is, again, some people are just so desperate to touch their toes, they round their back, right? We don't want to do that. We want to try to keep our chest nice and low, straighten out. Yogis, it's just practice. You may not get it today. Sometimes knowing how to use the strap can get a little confusing, so don't get discouraged. I'd like to do a couple more of these videos if you like it. So we're going to come down to a seated posture. Paschimottanasana. It's a forward fold, reaching your toes. We're going to do it in 3 different ways using the strap and the blocks. So, feet flat, toes up. Again, sometimes yogis, if you take a look at my feet, if you're like me, this is how I sit naturally. Do you see how open my feet are? That's just my natural posture with my hip flexors. I can't change it, I can only practice it. So I see a lot of times people turning out their feet like I would and fold forward because this feels kind of comfortable. It's just kind of lazy and it's not bad. It's really not the posture of Paschimottanasana. This is more of a laziness maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's a bad word. It's just, I just think we can get a little bit better, a little deeper. So, you want to flex your feet, point your toes up toward the ceiling. Okay? Take your hands to your legs, reach your chest forward. It's not about touching the toes. Who cares if we can do this? It doesn't mean anything. We want to reach instead of round. Okay? Chest forward, chest forward. Notice how my shoulders are so far back. I'm not here. Pulling back. Now, if you can grab your feet, great. You're still keeping the shoulders back, so you're not here. If you can reach forward, awesome. Shoulders are still back. Head down, sure. And toes are up, not falling out. So that's no props. Now, with the prop, using a strap, or a towel, or a shirt, doesn't matter. You bring it around your feet, and you stay here. Option A, option B, option C, right? It's all about shoulders back, heart forward. You don't want to do this? You want to do this? Just a practice. Then you can get closer and closer and closer and closer and fold. I like doing it. It's a little bit different. You take this strap, still same big belt loop. You bring it around your body. Bend the knees. Feet come on the inside of the strap. I'm keeping this strap up by my shoulder blades, thoracic spine. It's kind of a sensitive area. Try to keep it up a little bit. I'm reaching my knees toward my chest. My chest is up, my shoulders are back. And then I'm going to fold forward from here, tightening up this belt loop as much as I want to. And lower down. Again, doing it this way keeps the integrity of your shoulders being back. Because immediately I can feel if I'm rounding, I can feel that strap move, I can I can feel it digging into my back a little bit more. When I roll back my shoulders, there's less pressure on the strap. So it's kind of fun for me. So feel kind of nice. Take your strap, still stays in that belt loop. Tighten it up a little bit. Bring it around your feet. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. This time I am taking my strap to my hips. So there's lots we can do here. If this already is out of the question, you're going to take some pillows or some blocks and place them under your knees. Nice and juicy and relaxing here, right? So when I'm at home in bed, like in the morning, evening, when I'm at home, I kind of like hanging out in my bedroom more than like the living room. And I will have my laptop open, or I'll have something open, I don't know, like a book, maybe I'm on Reddit, and I'll just hang out like this. So the strap is holding me in. When you tighten up, you should be able to lean back and hold and chill. This is working your pelvic floor, your groin, your hip flexors. This is working the soles of your feet. Sometimes people with plantar fasciitis, they get a little bit of a tenderness on the inside of their feet. Although you want to keep your back straight and shoulders back, don't be afraid to kind of lean into it, right? I mean, yes, this would be great here. This is also kind of nice. So you should be able to hang out here. I'll watch Netflix and I'll, I don't know, read or hang out. Sometimes I'll just go on my mala beads and give myself a little loving kindness, a little meditation. Gosh, being at the lake right now like this, I feel like I could just stay here, but that's probably not as fun for you. So another way to do this is to tighten up your strap super tight, super tight, super tight. Bring the pinky toes together, open up the feet like you're reading a book, lift up your chest, reach your heart forward. You can stay here, you can stay here, you can come all the way down. The hard part here, yogis, is heart to heels. It's not about this. Heart to heels. That's when you're really going to feel it in the ground in Baddha Konasana, is either using a block or a pillow or nothing at all. You want to have a nice big belt loop. I'm at like the very end of my belt here. And I have this really nice wide stance here with my legs, so it's really far and open. I'm going to take this block right behind my shoulder blades. All right, so my shoulders are going to fall over it. I'm going to lay down. Ooh. Ah. Oh my gosh, if you're doing this right now, I hope you feel as awesome. Notice how my neck is extended and my head is all the way down. If that is not going to happen for you, if that's a little bit too intense, you're going to take your other block or your pillow and bring it behind your head, right? So this way you're still opening up the shoulders, you're still opening up the heart, and you're opening up the hips. This is just such a nice opening posture. So yogis, you can stay like this for years. It should just feel restorative and juicy and calming. If you go to my Spotify, I have a meditation playlist where a lot of the songs on the playlist are anywhere between 5, 7, and 10 minutes long. So that's kind of a nice little way to measure your practice and how long you're holding some of these postures. If you can put on a 10-minute song and stay here, you're doing some awesome things for your hips and your lumbar and your heart and your shoulders. Okay, you're going to come up. Now, I'm going to use this strap. I'm not going to let go of that belt loop. I'm just going to take it away for a second. Bumping up. You can use blocks, up or down. It's ease in your core. Lift your legs. and lower down. It's a little bit easier with blocks because you have a little bit more height to your practice. In time, we get to a place where the hands are down, shoulders are tucked in, belly's tucked, so we're not hunching, we're just like a vacuum seal, just tucking in nice and tight and bumping up. That's what we're working toward. Taking blocks beside your hips, hands down. You can lift the hips up, drop the hips down. This is like tricep dips, so you can do maybe 3 of those. Blocks come back, legs come up, legs come down. This is like Navasana, right? Just a little bit more support, up and down. If you want to lift up your hips and one leg, try that. Hips and another leg, try that. If you want to try both, you vacuum seal, tuck in, don't slouch, just tuck in, nice and tight. Lift up, lower down. But you want to know a fun trick is if you take your strap, if you make it nice and big, then you bring it around your body. Remember that you want to keep it up by your shoulders, bring it around your feet. This is going to help you too because your legs are being forced to stay up, right? You have the support. You're being supported here as you lift up. Hi, Jack. I know, I figured. And lower down. Good. Jack. Good boy. So I like doing it that way. That's a good way to practice it. Another way to practice your Navasana for your shoulders and your legs is if you keep this strap as a nice belt loop, lift up, right? Hands can stay at the blocks or hands can come away. This is really helping your spine stay up. Yogis, we see this all the time in Navasana. We see this, right? This isn't bad, that's okay, but you are working toward lifting up nice and high. Good? I think this might be the last thing we do. Using this strap as a big belt loop, you're going to lay down on your mat. Nice. Keep it as a big belt loop. So a lot of times when we do yoga or you see yoga straps being used in practice, you see people wrap it around their foot and they're pulling in with their biceps. Now that's not bad, that's awesome, that's great. But this happens a lot. People really just want to reach their toes so bad that they're sacrificing their shoulders. So if you keep this up by your shoulders, and the knee stays bent, that's fine. That's awesome, that's fine. Your back is straight, your shoulders are supported. If you think you can straighten your leg, nice. This opposite leg can be straight or bent. Doesn't really matter. If the knee is bent, it may feel a little bit more comfortable on your low back. If the leg is straight, you are getting a deeper stretch through your hamstrings. You can do the same thing as you bring your leg out to the side, keeping it as this nice, really big belt loop. When we do this posture, yogis do this sometimes. They just want their foot to touch the mat, that they forget about their left hip. So I like taking my left hand to my left hip and reminding myself, bloop, just pull down. And then lift back up. Grab your strap, squeeze in your belly, lift up your shoulders, tap your nose to your knee, and release down. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to run through it just a little bit more quickly since we've done it once. Knee can be bent, that's fine. Leg can be straight, that's great. You want it up by the shoulder, so not the thoracic, because that may make your spine come up. You want to keep the back flat. As you open up, watch this. My right hip is going to come up, right? I don't want that. Taking my right hand to my right hip. I'm saying stay down, hip. Where are you going, hip? Don't rush. Stay down, stay down. Yogis, by working with the strap and this to stay connected and control, this is going to help you with some of your more advanced binds and balances like bird of paradise or eagle, or just deeper flexibility postures where we really are trying to elongate the spine as well as the hamstring, making a connection. Hands to the strap, shoulder blades up, squeeze nose to knee, let everything go, and drop down. Good. Inhale, arms up above the head. Squeeze in your strong core. It's okay if the heels are going to lift off the mat, but you're going to activate your heels down. So you're going to flex your legs, squeeze or extending them. Think of it as pulling up toward the hips. Activate your legs, breathe in. Exhale, hands at your heart. Lift up to seated. Fold forward. Remember those shoulders stay back. Lower down. Up. That's it, yogis. Again, I'm going to post this on my website and on my YouTube channel. I'm also going to post this on Facebook. I might make a little clip for you Instagrammers out there, or you can share this. I'm going to make it available to share. Hope you learned a couple of tricks using a strap and some blocks. If you liked this, let me know, because I love using a strap, and I actually use my strap to help me with my more intermediate or advanced postures, whether I'm working on them or deepening them, or I don't know. I like doing it. So, namaste. Thank you for your time. Thank you for doing this and for the effort. Again, it's all going to be posted. Straps, blocks, meditation. I mean, what more do you need, right? Namaste.